I've been hands-on with the Nintendo Switch. Here's 3 things I liked and 2 things I didn't. The screen's fantastic. It's not an OLED screen and you would never know to look at it. It's really beautiful. The colors really pop. The blacks are black. It really does look like an OLED, and yet it's not. Nintendo's worked some magic on that one. Second one's going to be the mouse controller. The mouse really took me by surprise. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but having used it, it feels really good. It feels very intuitive. It makes a lot of sense. It feels like a mouse, which is crucial. You would think that might be a bit difficult for it to do, and yet it really did feel like moving a mouse around on my PC. Third thing is going to be size and weight, I think. The Switch 2 is the same size as the original Switch, though the screen itself is larger. Beyond that, it fits very much in the same frame as the original model, even in terms of its thinness and its weight. It felt almost exactly the same in the hand as the original did, and I think that's a real tick in its favor. There's a lot of people that are going to be familiar with it, that are going to feel comfortable with it, and you can pick it up and know exactly what you're doing with it right away. Okay, so 2 things I didn't like. The first one, believe it or not, we're going to go back to the mouse. I actually felt like the mouse was at times a little bit too sensitive. You may be able to play with this in the settings, though obviously at an event like this, that's not going to be something that Nintendo's going to let you do. They're going to let you play it how they've set it up. What I found while I was playing it was that it was a little bit sensitive at times, and that could lead to you overplaying, particularly in games like Drag and Drive. I found that I was steering into walls a lot, a lot early on. I did get used to it over time, and by the time we were allowed to play a 3-on-3 multiplayer match, I was performing tricks and scoring points, but until that point I really did feel like I was struggling to get to grips with the game. Thing number 2 has got to be the welcome tour. Boy, man, they really shouldn't be charging for it. Like, it's cute, and it really does have some... It has some fun games. I will say it has some fun games involved. One of them involved was like a kind of a Space Invaders style game where you've got to move your little icon around incoming waves of enemies. Really fun. There was another one where you had to guess where the rumble was coming from in a particular line and use the rumble in the controllers to figure out where it was. Another one was frames. I had a friend of mine do one where it asked you to guess between 60 and 120 frames, and guess what? I couldn't tell the difference. So what does that say about me? However, it is a very basic product. It is just a welcome tour. It isn't any more complex than a basic tutorial, really, in many respects. You wouldn't even put it up against something like Astro's Playroom, which was much more complex and much more diverse, I think, in terms of gameplay. I don't think they should be charging for this. I think that's a mistake. What else are you interested in about the Switch 2 now that I've had a hands-on with it? Hit me with your questions, get in the comments, let me know.